and it's chapter 2. Our new classroom, Freya announces, throwing her arms wide open. I waited in the nutrition centre for her to finish pretending to eat her breakfast so we could go to class together. I didn't want to walk in alone. Wow, it's so different, I say dryly. Like last year and all the years previous to that, the majority of our classes will be held in a large room, painted entirely in black. The obsolete windows boarded up with black wooden panels. The wall at the front of the room is sheeted in mirrored glass from floor to ceiling. In front of that is the Chastity's desk, the weathered oak on dull brass knobs. Two upstanding glass boxes flank it, one on either side. Rows of tiered seatings and desks with mirrored tops are squeezed into the centre of the room, a narrow set of steps covered in threadbare black carpet running up the middle. The summer holidays feel like a distant dream already. Frida, you look amazing, Cara squeals, her dark blonde hair fanning around her face as she rushes to hug me. Freya waited in vain for a similar compliment, falters for a second, then smiles at me with disproportionate enthusiasm and says, "Totally." "No, I don't," I reply automatically. We throw our handbags onto the broad windowsill on the far end of the room before climbing up ourselves, the perfect position to observe everyone else coming in. "Don't take all day," Cara jokes, brushing dust off her plaid cotton skirt and acid wash skinny jeans as Freya and I struggle in our heels. Once we're sitting, Freya takes out a pocket mirror from her clutch and scans her face, as if she's afraid it might have disappeared. Snapping it shut with a sigh, she leans back on the wooden board and tuts with disapproval as Heidi walks in, her cerise halter neck dress slashed to the navel. Heidi's head snaps in our direction. After 16 years in school, we've all developed a sixth sense for judgment. "Frida, you look great." Daria has floated in over to join us, her eyes skimming over her body, or my body. "Totally," Freya says, far more convincing now that she's had time to prepare. "I love that skirt." I dip my head, smiling. "Did Isabel pick it out for you?" she continues sweetly, and my smile freezes. She has such good taste. "Where is she, by the way?" Cara asks, her thick eyebrows knitted together. They've asked me this every day for the past 2 months. Her video chat has been off all summer. "She's not feeling well," I reply again. I don't want to admit I know as little as they do. The room is filling up. Uh, Griselle swaggers through the door in a dropped navy vest top and snug white jeans, her hips swaying as she walks towards us and links her arms through Daria's. The twins, Jessie and Liz, follow her, exact replicas in matching turquoise playsuits, moving as if their limbs are attached to one body. Golden blonde hair frames heart-shaped faces, aqua-coloured eyes stare vacantly at us. "Where's Isabel?" Griselle asks immediately, setting my teeth on edge. Her skin looks perfect. She's obviously fully recovered from that allergic reaction. "Her door was still down this morning," Jessie says. "And locked. I checked." "Are you sure?" Liz gasps, pretending that she doesn't already know. If Jessie checked the door was locked, then Liz was there and would have checked with her too. Our doors are never locked. "Weird," they say together, as if the rest of us are unaware of the fact that after 16 years of school, the doors are never locked. "She hasn't been at the nutrition centre," Freya says. "She's complained about the injustice of this at every meal for the past 2 months." "I haven't seen her in the gym either," Griselle offers, placing a hand on her toned stomach. Freya watches her closely, sniffs, and draws her shoulders in towards her chest to make her razor-sharp clavicle even more prominent. "And I've been at the gym a lot." "Megan's here," Daria interrupts, running her fingertips underneath the frayed edges of her bleached denim cutoffs and pulling them down over her tanned, muscular thighs. "Megan, over here." She waves her over to us. "Now she really looks amazing." I look at her sharply. Is that supposed to mean I don't? Megan, you look beautiful, Daria says as Megan air kisses the twins, smacking loudly, her painted red nails inches away from their skin. Beautiful, I mutter, wishing I was lying. A thin sheath of sea green silk clings to her perfect body. A one-shouldered full-length toga, 3.0, brown black hair, is styled in coiled plaits at the crown at the top of her head. Arsenic green eyes, seared into her luminously pale skin. She's perfect. Is there room for one more? She points at us perched up on the windowsill and smiles again, her eyes watchful as Cara, Freya, and I look at each other in unspoken challenge. Finally, Freya, the lowest ranked of the three of us, jumps down, proclaiming she was tired of sitting there anyway. Megan flicks her hand, and Cara and I move apart to make space for her. She springs up as easily as if she were wearing sweatpants and sits between us. Frida! Her shriek pierces the din of chatter, causing heads at the other end of the room to turn around. Look how dark you are compared to me. She grabs my arm and presses it against hers. Isn't she so dark? Yes, but your skin is beautiful, Megan, the twins say on cue. I jerk my arm back and huddle it close to my chest, grinning to show how little I care. And so smooth, Kira says, rolling up her sleeve of her shirt to compare. They should be. I got a full body wax from Chastity Hope in beauty therapy yesterday. A shadow passes over her face. I don't understand why we can't have laser treatment like the Eves and Americans do. Or better yet, be designed without body hair at all, like in the the Chinidia zone, Daria says, filling with a hole in her black crepe t-shirt. Yeah, Megan replies, her eyes drifting toward Lou, sitting with Christy on the other side of the room. I suppose some good things came out of Chinidia. It was worth it. You look great, Cara says, and Megan tilts her head, accepting the compliment as her due. Where's Isabel? Obviously, our opinion is not enough. She needs to compare herself to the number one Eve to see how she measures up. Why wasn't she at breakfast again? I told you this morning, and the morning before that, and the morning before that. She's sick. But Megan's not listening to me. She's staring at the entrance to the classroom. Sick, she repeats gleefully, and I follow her gaze, my heart sinking when I realize what's causing her such delight. An ill-fitting striped t-shirt tucked into waisted flares only emphasized Isabel's weight gain. She tangled her hair into a high ponytail away from her makeup-free face. She walks up the central steps as if the extra pounds of flesh are weighing her down, heads turned to stare, watching as she takes a seat at the back row on the left-hand side, as far away from the rest of us as she can get. Clearly being sick hasn't affected her appetite, Megan says, and there we were, worrying about her having measles. Liz and Jessie giggle again, but a bit nervously this time. I've never heard Megan say anything overly nasty about Isabel before. I've never heard anyone say anything nasty about Isabel. Quieten down, Eves. At the sound of that voice, the three of us jump down from the windowsill. Cara and I stumble, grabbing hold of one another to balance, but Megan lands gracefully, smirking at our clumsiness. Chastity Ruth waits behind the wide oak desk, her hands lost in the cavernous depths of her black robes. The recessed ceiling lights are bouncing off her shaved skull, her ash-grey eyes narrowed at us, traces of prettiness faded away from her fine-boned face. We didn't hear her come in. We never do. Take your places. You may choose your own seating arrangements as a privilege of being in 16th year, she says, and we hesitate, fearing a trap. Now, she says, her voice chillingly quiet. The others scramble for position. Cara calls me, patting the empty chair next to her in the front row. Before I could have, before I would have refused without thinking. My natural place was being with Isabel, but now I don't know what to do. I wait for a second too long, and Giselle, claims the seat, stretching her long legs out in front of her as Kira pulls an apologetic face at me. I climb the steps towards Isabel, uh, burrowed into the corner of the room. Here are your new rankings for the first week of the final year. Chastity Ruth taps the board behind her, and the mirror dissolves, exposing a huge computer screen as she gives voice commands to upload our rankings. In first place we have, Chastity Ruth clears her throat twice and takes a sip of water from the plastic cup on her desk. Eve number 676. Megan's face fills the screen. Megan? I stare at the photo, her green eyes triumphant, as if she knew her time had finally come. This was the first time in 12 years that Isabel hadn't been number one. I don't dare look up. I'm afraid that Megan will see my doubt and remember it. I'm afraid that Isabel will somehow see within me, see my secret regret that I wasn't finally the one who beat her. The embers of resentment over 16 years of living in her shadow smouldering inside me. In second place, please let it be me, please let it be me. Eve number 701. Jessie's photo flashes onto the screen, and I smile to hide my disappointment. At number 3, Liz's face where mine should be, and I forget how to breathe. Cara is number 4. And dropping 2 places, I see we have Eve number 630 in 5th place. My fingers tighten over my kneecaps, boring into the bone. I stare at my reflection in the desktop, willing my face not to betray me. My earphone vibrates against the desk, a photo of Megan appearing on the screen. I crouch out of view to listen to the message. You look so tired in your photo. I can lend you some of my new concealer if you like. It's supposed to work miracles. I straighten up. She's watching me from the first row, patting imaginary bags under her eyes. And finally, in last place, we have Eve number 700. Chastity Ruth finishes. Agnes coming last, as always. The tabletops shiver to form an updated grid, our faces displayed in order of rank. Isabel, will you please accompany me to my office? The Chastity says, baring her teeth in a facsimile of a smile. I half stand in my seat and allow Isabel to pass, whispered to her, good luck. She gives no sign of having heard me, and fear prickles in my stomach. Is she angry at me? Did she see my momentary regret that it wasn't me who had beaten her? The Chastity waits until Isabel reaches her before escorting her out the door, barking at us. Make your way to your next class immediately. Everyone filters out slowly, chatting loudly about the new rankings. A jumble of words with Isabel, 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 like a drum beat under the chorus, until it's only our group remaining. I grab my bag and walk down the steps towards them, pushing past Lou, standing at the edge of our seats. Bye, Lulu, Megan says sweetly, wiggling her fingers in farewell. Didn't you hear Chastity Ruth say to get to your next class? Did you see? Daria bursts out once Lou is slouched out, closing the door with a bang. There's only 29 faces. Isabel isn't ranked. I scan the grid on the table before me, tracing a crack in the screen that is scratching into Cara's photo. She's right. Isabel is missing. That is weird, Liz and Jessie chorus, scrunching their faces up. How is that even possible? Giselle says. It's probably because of her weight gain, Daria says. But Chastity gained weight as well. Or Christy. Christy gained weight as well, Griselle points out. I'd say at least 2.4 pounds, if not 2.7. I wrap my arms around my stomach, trying to hide that extra pound of flesh with which my body has betrayed me. Not as much as Isabel, Daria argues, ignoring Freya. dry heaving at the mere thought of weight gain. There's no way they would want anyone in the main zone seeing that. Standards must be upheld. What will the inhabitants think when they arrive? But who knows when their visits will start? They might not come for months. They start arguing amongst themselves, their voices getting louder and louder. Only Megan and I are silent. This is boring, Megan snaps, her face pinched with annoyance. We're just wasting our time. Why are we talking about her? Totally, the twins say, sensing danger. Congrats, Megs, Darius says smoothly, draping an arm around Megan's shoulders. You deserve to be number one. You've always been the prettiest in our year. Yeah, the zone's always been biased towards blondes. It's stupid, Freya says, delighted at this excuse for her lower ranking, ignoring the twins as they hiss simultaneously. Well, I have a feeling that isn't going to be the case for much longer, Megan says, stretching her arms into the air in a V for victory. Shrugging Daria's arm off her roughly, Daria simpers with embarrassment, but she doesn't say anything, not like she might have before. I feel as if something is shifting beneath my feet, disturbing my balance. Welcome to final year, girls. That's the end of chapter 2. Thank you for listening.